Extreme rainfall in a very short time period and flooding has become the norm in India. Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Chandigarh, Bengaluru and others, city after city is seeing severe flooding, loss of life and property and all activities coming to a standstill. With life thrown out of gear, we are asking, where is the urban planning or the lack of it? What is being done to deal with climate change? And how does one navigate the impact of this climate change? To talk about this, I have with me C.R. Neelakandan, environmental activist and writer, and in the studio is my colleague Nivriti Mohan. Mr. Neelakandan, I want to start by asking you this. You know, a government report from 2020 says that increased frequencies of heavy rainfall on a sub and daily timescale has enhanced the flood risk all over India. That much is known. And it's gone on to note, this report says that increased frequency and impact of floods is rising in urban areas. Now, the interesting thing is that there are government guidelines which say that all our stormwater drains are designed for a rainfall intensity of between 12 and 20 mm per hour. And you're seeing record rainfall, 50 millimeters an hour or more. I mean, how out of touch with reality is our urban planning really?
Actually, our urban planning or rural planning, it's an old doldrums. First of all, our politicians who are responsible for the planning, they were not ready to believe that climate change, now I don't call it climate change, I call it climate extremities, climate challenge or climate crisis, what you call it. This will happen. They were not agreeing 10 years before when we say there is a climate extremities coming.
Right.
Nobody was ready to believe it.
Right.
So once they understand it from their experience. See, I am sitting from Kerala.
Yes.
You had just talked about Wayanad. It is not urban area, but Kerala is semi-urban everywhere for that
Yes.
matter.
It's the most urbanized state in India.
Considering the population density, you can
Yes.
think Kerala is a semi-urban everywhere for that matter, except the some tribal areas. So what happens is, once you are urbanizing or your habitat is increasing, its activities are increasing, there should be some kind of control or some kind of thinking whether this can be done in the event of a climate change, climate
Right.
extremity, whether it is rain or heat or whatever it is. So our planning, whatever we do, it should be based on climatic extremities or climatic change.
Right.
That is the slogan we were telling for many long years.
Yes.
But the problem is, if you want to plan, see, for example, if this Wayanad itself we take. Wayanad, we all know that it is highly vulnerable to heavy rains. Actually, there were technical reports even before Madhav Gadgil, then
Right.
Madhav Gadgil, and many other reports. Even in 2018, we understood Kerala is highly vulnerable. We had a very heavy flood all over Kerala. So we should have known, at least in 2018,
Yes.
that we are going to face such a crisis.
Right. But Mr.
once
Neelakandan,
we are done-
the cities, Wayanad, of course, it's a problem, it's a crisis, it's a catastrophe. But cities where bulk of our urban populations live, why have they got such little attention? Given the fact that you have report after report, Government of India 4 years back says that, look, we know that extreme rainfall is a phenomenon, we have to live with it. Despite that, there has been no attempt to fix either the infrastructure, improve stormwater drainage, rewrite the norms like I just told you, that 12 to 20 mm per hour of rainfall. All our systems are geared for this, possibly from the last century. And you're talking of not climate change, but you're talking of climate extremities, a climate catastrophe. Why has this not got the kind of attention that we need? Why is nobody even talking about it?
No, if you give some attention to that, there may be changes. There may have to be changes for your development paradigm. See,
Right.
you think development is making big constructions,
Yes.
either roads, buildings, malls, and grounds, airports, whatever it is. So we think that is the development. See, for example, we people, when we question a development saying that it will affect the water flow, it will affect the drainage, then they will say, no, 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 you are anti-developmentalist.
Right.
You are anti-developmentalist.
Yes.
So our voice is not that strong. Cutting across all spectrum of politicians, I know in Kerala we have left, right, and everything, but they don't listen to that.
Right.
When you talk about Bombay, I am living in Cochin. Cochin is also the same, even though it's a small
Yes.
scale. Cochin
Yes.
is also drowned in one rain in last May, this May.
Yes. Yes.
May 29th, we had heavy rains in Cochin. They say cloudburst. They may say many reasons. It is
Right.
not the reason that we require. It is the solution we require.
Absolutely.
You see, one simple thing, I went to High Court, said after 2018 flood in Kerala, we wanted a flood mapping and a dynamic flood analysis, water analysis,
Right.
water level analysis.
Right.
See, you open a dam somewhere and flood is coming maybe 150 or 200 kilometers away in my house,
Yes.
which is situated, you are saying, but now we have GPS, we have everything. At least we can mark the flood level.
Yes.
See, this much rain, you have this much flood. If you mark the flood level, then make a GPS based on that
Right.
and say that. If you make that, you can say this construction is wrong, this drainage is faulty, now water will flow from this place to that place. This hydrology is simple. Hydrology, it's not a rocket science. Water will flow down only, never flow up. So where should be, you should have pumped drainage, you should not have construction, where the canal should be stopped. See, even rivers and canals were encroached and they build big construction. Yeah, and Kerala, we know the paddy fields and the wetlands. Everywhere
Absolutely.
wetlands.
All the low-lying areas have been built over, concretized. There's nowhere for the water to go, and you know
Yeah.
that's exactly what we've been seeing in Delhi as well, Nivriti. All those low-lying areas have been built. All the access into the for the stormwater drains to flow into the Yamuna have all been built over. That's a story that's very close to you. You've been covering it for many years. But tell me this: why is this never been a political issue in Delhi? Why are citizens not out on the streets protesting over the fact that you don't have stormwater drains? There is not a single stormwater drain in Delhi. Noida has over 80 of them. Delhi, as in the old Delhi and the national capital, not the NCR, but the capital of Delhi does not have stormwater drains. How shameful is that?
Of course, they are not protesting because they are party to what is happening right now.
Right.
So, if you think about unauthorized colonies in Delhi, how can they come and protest against what is happening right now in Delhi because of lack of drains, while
Yes.
they have themselves encroached upon the land?
Right.
That is what happened in Wayanad also.
Yes.
People don't protest because when the Gadgil committee report was brought out
In 2013.
yes, it talked about conserving at least more than 60 to 70% of the entire Western
Yes.
Ghats.
Yes.
But it did not happen. Why? Because people protested against this change.
Right.
People were against this change, and it is said, experts say that it was to tone down this committee report, that
Yes.
other committee, the Kasturi Rangan committee,
Right.
it
And
was
then
brought,
Uman,
and it made
Yes.
the recommendations, the area was reduced to 30 to 37 or 40%.
Right.
From 60-70% of conservation,
Yes.
they came down to 30 to 37% of
Right.
area.
Right.
So this is why people don't come themselves and protest, but this indifference by the authorities
Yes.
and this indifference of the common people has led to what is happening.
Absolutely. Indifference,
now.
apathy, that's one of the reasons for this. You know, Mr. Chandra Bhushan, environmentalist and researcher, joins us. Welcome to the News9 Plus show, Mr. Bhushan. You know, we are talking about broken cities, non-existent stormwater drains, only because of the Rajinder Nagar tragedy, where these three young students lost their lives. They drowned in the most unimaginable of circumstances. Why is this never an election issue, Mr. Bhushan? The fact that you have a city of the caliber of Delhi, it's the capital of one of the world's largest economies, and we don't have stormwater drains.
Well, there are multiple reasons. I also believe that civic responsibility is something that has not been ingrained in all of us. We do not we are too much preoccupied with our own personal life. Community engagement is very poor.
Right.
Political representation do not represent the kind of challenges that are there on the ground. Our municipal services are very poor. In
Yes.
fact, we pay too much attention on state and central government elections and very little on local elections. But the fact is that our lives are dependent on who is our local representative.
Right.
The ward councillors, those who are there, the mayor
Right.
of a city. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that leave about the broken, state government issue in Delhi and the fight that center and state has.
Yes. Yes.
The fact of the matter is that the local government itself is broken in the city.
Right.
That you see across the country. You go to
Yes.
Mumbai and the situation is the same.
Right.
So we pay too much attention on the role of center and state government and too little on the role of local government.
Absolutely.
And no country in the world, let me just say that, go to any developed country and you will find that they have the strongest governance at the local level.
Yes.
Mayor of New York and the mayor of Chicago and Washington and other US cities
Right.
are very powerful political leaders
Right.
because they take care of millions of people's needs. But do we even know the name of the mayor of Delhi or Kolkata or other cities? So I believe that till this country builds the municipal governance, we empower municipalities and spend resources there, these kind of challenges will continue.
No, absolutely. The fact that we have a broken local government, that's something we don't pay adequate attention to, and there's no way that you can become a developed nation by 2047 if you don't have local government. Mr. Neelakandan, but looking ahead, this point that you brought out, the fact that we are no longer in the middle of climate change. Climate has already changed. Deal with it. How do we deal with it now? What is it that we need to do on an emergency basis in 2024?
Actually, I want to add what you were discussing earlier, the local government.
Yes.
The most powerful local distributed government is in Kerala.
Yes.
We have highly distributed system. That is why Madhav Gadgil in his report told, he is not giving a report to implement. He told, my report should be translated into local language and it should be discussed in Gram Sabhas and Ward Sabhas.
Right.
So Gram Sabhas and Ward Sabhas, if they discuss this report, then they will know, as you told, they will know what will happen, where will be. Here, even in this, the local panchayat president was knowing there will be heavy landslide.
Yes.
He had informed the authorities 2 days before. There is a danger like that. But he cannot do anything because shifting 500, 600 families, it's not in the control of a panchayat sarpanch.
Right.
So the government, the district authority should intervene there. But nobody bothered. Nobody bothered. Because panchayat president calling a collector means panchayat president is who is panchayat president?
Right.
Sarpanch.
Right.
We don't bother. So what happened is, here the decentralization and giving power, especially in disaster areas, it is very, very important. I don't know whether you might have heard, even in the Wayanad disaster, there is a Hume Center in Wayanad, which had predicted this 3-4 days before. They were measuring rainfall in 200 points in Wayanad distributed, and local panchayat representatives and all are involved, schools are involved. They were getting the rain data, how the rain data is increasing, and they were doing prediction. But the Hume Center has given all these details to the district authority. They didn't do anything. That is a problem because the rural government is very powerless to implement. So there should be more decentralization with the power. That is one thing. Second thing, we cannot blame the people. Just one sentence. We cannot blame the people because people are driven by the political pundits.
Right.
Even the technocrats or scientists or environmentalists, they have no voice on that. They will say this is our development. Don't worry about that.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask Mr. Bhushan this. Thanks, Mr. Neelakandan. But closing comments from Mr. Chandra Bhushan. What do you need to do now on an urgent basis, Mr. Chandra Bhushan? The fact that climate has already changed. We have seen it from Leh to Wayanad in 2024. What is it that we need to do on an emergency basis now to save more lives?
I think there are multiple things we need to do. We need to start developing local area action plan for adaptation and disaster risk reduction. So we must start doing local ward level plan of disaster risk reduction, because Himalayas are disaster prone, and
Yes.
so are Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. All the hills from that perspective. But across the country, we should do now local level action plan for climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction. We should now start thinking about a national climate change law. We do
Yes.
not have, this country does not have a law to deal with climate change. In
Yes.
fact, Supreme Court in a recent judgment did say that the country needs a climate change law. So we
Right.
should start thinking about how do we deal with climate change in terms of legal framework
Yes.
at the state and the national level. And then awareness and sensitivity. I do believe that Madhav Gadgil report is an important report. I also believe that that report needs to be discussed extensively and adopted.
Right.
And adopted very quickly. It is more
Yes.
than 40 years that that report is there.
Absolutely.
So those things should be done, and we should move ahead.
We should move ahead indeed, and yeah, thanks very much, Mr. Chandra Bhushan, Mr. Neelakandan, for joining us this evening on the News9 Plus show on India's drowned reality. It's not too late to wake up now and take action on the climate crisis that our cities are facing.